I'm back. Today's video is we are so free we chose bondage, the claim to be. This video is about our status, who, what I am in the world, but not of it. And I received an email years ago. I believe it came from a woman, a well-known woman, and sorry, the sex escapes me, as does the name. But here's what was said. If if I claim to be this, then that is what I am to the exclusion of other possibilities. But if I am nothing, then I am everything. Very profound and meaningful words, certainly when it comes to interacting with governments, business, courts, and lawyers. And her quote is a perfect lead-in for my topic today, the claim to be the price for my freedom. And the same thing I'm talking about here with respect to the birth of countries applies around the world. Every country has its founding date, its birth date. It wasn't, and then it was. It's for Canada, for example, was founded in 1867. Until then, there was no Canada. It's called Rupert's Land. A lot of people don't remember that. I remember seeing the map of Rupert's Land when I was in public school, long time ago. Anyhow, so Canada was founded in 1867. Until then, there were no Canadians at that time. There was no such thing. Only British subjects and local native people were on this land for the most part. Maybe others are here that I'm not aware of, but anyhow, it was British subjects. I've read the history on this. It was not until years later that the Franchise Act was passed. This act paved the way for man to claim to be a citizen of Canada, to claim to be a Canadian. This paved the way for man to change his status, his capacity, who, what he is, legally speaking. The Franchise Act later became the Citizenship Act, and here he is. Most people on planet Earth claim to be a citizen of a country, which in reality is a corporation. That aside, even this concept of citizenship attachment to us is founded on assumptions and presumptions. For a man cannot become something else, but he can claim to be. He can believe himself to be. He must believe himself to be before he's going to claim to be, or we're out to lunch. Man cannot become something else. Not like a caterpillar can become a butterfly. And that's why I said, legally speaking. Now, I with the pleasure of receiving a court case. It was a federal government took on Colgate Palmolive in don't quote me on this, 1973ish. It was an anti-combine thing, anti-competition thing. But it's what the court said, the judge said in that case. It's very revealing for us, and fits perfectly with what I'm here to talk about today. If the legislature can create it, it can control and regulate it. Well, I'll tell you this. The legislature created citizen. It created and defines what a citizen is. They say it is a benefit to be a citizen. That may be, but is there a cost? Man masks his manhood. Woman masks her womanhood. And each man and woman hands control of and over their lives, freedom, credit, and other property to the respective legislatures and parliaments, governments. There goes the freedom out the window, another piece of it. See, it's just, I'll carry on here. God, life, on the other hand, created man, not citizen, not human, not Canadian, not American, not German, French, or any other such creation. These are creations of the legislatures. So check out the definition of the acts, the codes, the laws, etc. You never see mention of a man in there or a woman in there. There's a reason for that. It's a change of venue. And I'll carry on here. If you claim to be a citizen, you are labeling yourself property belonging to the maker of what a citizen is. That's another reason you're controlled and regulated by government and government actors. You put on that mask and I'm a citizen, the government now has its tentacles into your life, into your affairs, you see? And one need not say out loud that I'm a citizen of this or that country. Not at all. Actions speak louder than words. By partaking in an act, any act, of the legislatures or parliaments of the various countries, so on and so forth. Example, you apply for a driver's license, a passport, a social insurance number, an SSN number, bank accounts, freedom of information requests, you apply to a court, and by By doing that, one is claiming to be a citizen because only citizens can apply. I say again, partake in any act of a legislature or parliament or of a government, whatever it is where you're located, so on and so forth. You are saying, I'm a citizen of this country, whichever country you're in, which is really a corporation. And for that choice, you hand over your freedom, another piece of it. All you people protesting the government, and this is with all due respect, protesting to your leaders, so-called. I propose that only citizens would do such a thing. I get the raw program. We're born into a manufactured reality. As a citizen, those men and women you protest to, the ones you claim as your leader, you're best to do as your leader says, or maybe you want to stop claiming to be and acting like a citizen. Who walks like a citizen, talks like a citizen, acts like a citizen, must be citizen, and citizens are controlled and regulated by the legislatures of the various countries, states, district, territories, provinces, so on, so forth, that created and defined what a citizen is. God created man of the dust of the ground. Not because you is a citizen, but because you claim you is. Again, actions speak louder than words. In other words, you can never actually be or become a Canadian. People move to another country and they pledge an oath of allegiance to that country. Well, now I'm a German. They're claiming to be a German. Well, you can't actually be a German. It's a mask. I'm telling you, it's a mask. It's a mask. You put on a mask. You claim to be a Canadian. Mask says Canadian. American, mask says American. German, mask says German. And whoever authored and created that mask and defined what that mask is and what a citizen is, controls the mask. And as by extension, controls whoever's wearing the mask. And none of this is imposed on us. We walked into this blindly, all of this stuff. It's a manufactured reality. Yeah, we're induced from birth, blah, 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 to do these things. But, there's a lot of people claiming out there fraud, and I get all of that. But it's also in the Bible, though, that the fathers were to teach the sons the laws of God, and our fathers didn't do that. So we could just as easily, we can blame government and government actors for our problems. We could blame our fathers for not teaching us the laws of God, keeping us grounded in our kingdom where life is. Non-legality, non-fictional stuff, nonsense going on there. So that's why I say here, we don't fight anything. We make our claim, we state our claim, we secure highest claim to the estate and all the other securities and everything, our lives, property, so on and so forth. So just do it. It's a little bit of paperwork and filing and send some notices out, and then that part's taken care of. No battles, not trying to change anything. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel or grease the wheel, not at all. So yeah, stop. Anyhow, this whole thing is based on make-believe, make them believe. They show the Queen. I grew up in I remember school in public school in grade 2, looking on the board to my right there. I was grade 2 or 3, I don't remember, but looking at this map, I remember it said Rupert's Land and Canada, kind of Rupert's Land superimposed on that. And then the top in the middle was a picture of the Queen. I remember saying to myself, what makes her so special? See, she owns all of that, Canada, if you will, Rupert's Land. Well, I've come to realize she owns the map. And she's nothing in my world now because it's, you're grown up, God save the Queen, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, God did not authorize any of that. Something else to think about here. I'm not picking on anybody here. This is just food for thought. Romans 13:1, religious organizations and others, quote Romans 13:1 and other scripture, claiming that God appointed the civil authority, human governments, to rule over and govern us. People, this is pure hogwash, pure unadulterated hogwash. It is common knowledge out there, if you care to look, United Nations, all over the place, that government authority is derived from the will of the people. This is done through the vote. You vote. This is 1 Samuel 8:10-17. We reject God knowingly or unknowingly, willingly or unwillingly. This is what's taking place, legally speaking. And maybe even God, I'm not making that call. I have not the authority. Where do I go here? So yeah, so this is done through the vote. Now think on this, just think on this. The will of the people is not also the will of God. How can it be? Think about it. And I wasn't going to say this, but so if we're actually doing the will of God, then what do we need governments for? Because His will is all laid out in the Bible. That would be our Constitution, wouldn't it? But that was there's a violation of the law. That's where we would look, because all the judgments, the statutes, the ordinances, it's all in there. The crimes and the punishments, so on and so forth. And God's a forgiving God. Let's. In that very first audio there, you heard the audio clip by Danny. Equity. Both sides have rights. Anyhow, a byproduct of the Reclaim Your Securities process, it removes the presumption that I am or ever was a citizen, that it is or ever was me that is or was controlled and regulated by the legislature of provinces or Canada. You people are where you're at. Smoke and mirrors, people, nothing more than smoke and mirrors. It's make them believe. Anyhow, Reclaim Your Securities is taking back control, is reclaiming freedom, your freedom. Feel what that freedom is. I mentioned the previous video to this one. This last bit here was really not related to my subject for today, but it was a comment, responded to a comment on one of the YouTube videos. And I thought, well, it kind of worked out good, so it was appropriate. Maybe I'll just throw it in here. Is there a positive way to look at this all cap name thing? I say that because there's a lot of people, quite a few people on the internet that are totally negative about this. And I'm not comfortable around negative vibes. That's why I say we don't fight here. We're not into fighting. Been there, done that. That way your resist persists. And it's not a case of you can't beat them, join them. No, we're just learning how to play the rules that they're playing by and forgetting everything else, taking it off the table. And the financiers are running a show and they're all about securities. So there you go. Let's find out what that is. And let's play the game that way and forget everything else. That's the underlying theme here. And it is. I'm not preaching to you, but I know it to be the case. Then I'd rather focus on that than anything else, quite frankly. So is there a positive way to look at the all cap name thing? Could it be that the all cap name is the name of or title to your public estate? Could it be that it was done so as to keep man out of the dead system? So I say you are your private estate. Now you've got this mirror image public estate. Private, public, get it? So it looks to me like it was never intended that we become into that thing there. Yeah, we may be induced and enticed, and mom and dad didn't really help either, and that. So again, it's not a blame thing. It just happened. Get over it. Was this done so that man can be in the system, in the world, or in the system, or partake in the system, but not of it? Thus, not controlled and regulated directly by it. Could it be, if the all cap name is the name of, title to my public estate, I could secure control for my good by securing the foundation document we've talked about, the foundational registration, which is a security. Could it be by securing that as collateral via proxy? Could it be that if I do that, I'd have control of the name? People want to talk about the name? Okay, we'll talk about the name. But by doing that, could I have control of the name? My public estate, the property, the securities, bank and other accounts, credit, profits, proceeds, control of my freedom, control of and over my body. Could it be? Well, my answer is yes. And but again, I'm not here to sell you on stuff. We're just providing you information. So yeah. So anyhow, that's all I wanted to mention today. It's a beautiful day here today. I was inspired, so here I am, and here I is. And I thank you for listening to me. God help you. God help you. God save us all. Help us all. Sorry. So my call to make. Anyhow, thank you for listening. God bless. And I bid you adieu till the next time. Thank you so much. Chowski. I got to mention here the security agreement that we have. It's only 3 pages. Because we're only dealing with securities, which is the foundation of everything. We're not actually identifying physical property. There's no need for that. You get the highest claim to the paper. You got the highest claim to the physical property. Assumptions and presumptions included. But the security agreement is such that, I can't give you all the info, but it's such that let's call it the all caps name. Y'all like to call it the all caps name, or the legal name, or the name of the corporation, whatever. Well, again, you're in control of this entity through your proxy. And so for all intents and purposes, when you're out there, nothing changes. As far as the public is concerned, nothing changes. You continue to use that name out in the public. You continue to conduct your business in that name in the public, your commercial affairs, whatever you want to call it. Nothing changes. It's just that behind the scenes, you see, you're secure now through your proxy. You're in control of that. And in fact, the way that security agreement is set up is that the debtor is acting as if the secure party. I told you it's a piece of work. So what I'm saying there is that the debtor in the security agreement, let's call it your all caps name, which we don't call it an all caps name in there by any means. We identify it properly. Remember, this is about trusts, estates, and securities. I was going to say here, shoot. Oh yeah, so that the debtor is not the secure party, but it is as if it is a secure party. So the instant that something is in the name of the debtor, the all caps name, the estate, it's secured. And it's all secured. So and you're the one behind the scenes in control. So no one can get to you anymore because you're the one in control of this thing now. It's not like, see, right now they're in control. So they're coming at you through that name because they're in control. And but through this process, this process is recognized in their system. Like I said, this is we're just doing what they do, and the law merchant thing. And so once you're secured and you have control, you have control. You know, sole control, if I can put it that way. So anyhow, I just wanted that little tidbit in there about the secured agreement. And it's very, like I say, it's only 3 pages, very simple. But it is part of the understanding, and that's part of one of the steps anyhow, and that's part of the package, the information package. Anyhow, God bless. Thanks for putting up with me again, and love you, and we'll talk to you again later. Ciao.